Hey, I'm Matthew Drat. I am sick, but I'm still gonna do this commentary because it is the best time to do this commentary right now. If I do commentaries for the other Lumorias, hopefully I won't be sick by then. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the cinematics, since if you don't know, I am the cinematic director for Lumoria since, well, essentially since the updated version. And I did not do the cinematic right here. This is actually Lodix doing the cinematic. I blame my sickness, but yeah, I didn't do this. I did the following cinematic, so I guess I get props there. It's just a lot of text. Anyway, since I got a lot of gameplay, I'll talk about how I got into TM and all the other stuff, and then I'll come back to the cinematic later. So, how I got into TM, when TMCA, Lumoria Episode 1, was first released, it was like one of the most hyped projects in Custom Edition besides like something CMT has done. So with all this hype, and Hyga actually mocked like 10 seconds of my cinematic before. It was him and ODX that were like mocking my cinematic. It was just like 10 seconds I put on an X-Fire. And so when episode 1 was released, I played it and I was like, wow, these cinematics are horrible. You know, if you're gonna mock my cinematics, the best you could do is at least have good cinematics of your own. So I was pretty much offended by the cinematics, and I'm working on Takedown Project Lawson, which has a lot of cinematics. So I know a thing or two about cinematics just from working on that. So I decided to remake the opening cutscene for episode 1, and so I did that completely quiet. I didn't let anyone know, and then I pretty much completed it. I wasn't done quite yet, but I forgot who contacted me. I think it was Moose Guy, and he was like, oh, I fixed a tag from Lumoria. I don't remember what it was, like the drone shaders, I don't know. He was like, yeah, I fixed Lumoria tags. I was like, oh cool, I'm fixing Lumoria too. So I gave him a video, which is actually on my YouTube channel. If you go through all my videos and you actually want to see that exact video. But it was essentially the original cinematic, and then it was my cinematic. So it was a comparison pretty much, and wow, the original cinematic sucked. And I only gave it to him because I wasn't done with it yet. But he behind his back, without my permission, uploaded that to his X-Fire. So it was on his X-Fire account. It had my logo on it, so he wasn't trying to steal it or anything. But so it was on his account, and since it was on his account, people could see it. And a minute or two later, friend request from Hi Guy. So I was like, oh my god, Hi Guy from TM Mapping Team. I didn't really care that much, but I might as well have some emotion in this commentary. So I accepted it, and then I got a pop-up. Hi Guy. Hi. You know, his monotone voice. Hi. probably doesn't sound anything like him, but it's like, hi, what's up? He's like, I saw that work you did. I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Hey, you remember when you mocked my cinematic? And he was like, oh, what? I don't, I'm sorry. I was like, I don't care. And then he was like, you want to be in TM mapping team? I was like, yes. I cannot deny that. I mean, it's one of the most hyped projects in custom edition, besides like anything CMT has worked on. So I had to say yes.
This is Delta 137. Do you read me, Brandon? I've got a package of your name on it.
Oh, this pelican that comes up, I'll talk about later.
Loud and clear.
But anyway, I could not deny that.
Just call me Scarecrow.
And then I was already friends with Lodix, the other project lead at the time. So Lodix popped up and he's like, "Welcome to the team." I was like, "Yeah." I actually think I knew Lodix. I don't remember how I knew Lodix originally. I think it was because I leaked one of his maps during my Halo CE Ripper days. So, not sure how too happy he was about that. He seemed pretty chill about it. But yeah, that's how I got in team. They're like, finish the cinematics, and then we'll release the updated version. And therefore, episode 1 updated was released. And I'm gonna go back to that pelican since I brought it up. If you play the original, updated, or the TMCA map, that pelican actually clips the bridge. That, I don't know why, but that annoyed me so much, I had to fix it. Like, no one was going to fix it, no one cared about it, but that just bugged me so much. I was just like, you know what? This was in like the last week, too. So I was like, you know what? I'm fixing that, and I'm releasing it. Or that's gonna be in the release. I don't release the maps, but I'm like, I'm fixing that before this gets released. And so I just went in and fixed it. So now to talk about the updated version, the updated version of Lumoria A, which is going to be the final version of A. I don't see why we'd ever have to re-release this again. So, like I said, the opening cinematic was by Lodix. I did not do that. And then once you get into the bridge, that's my work. It's the same thing as the updated version. So I didn't actually update that for the re-release, I guess. I was gonna do some stuff with it, but I just ran out of time. I was gonna make it a slower paced cinematic. Like, I don't know. For me, it just seems like it goes by too fast. Like it's, oh, we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, we're out. Like, so I was gonna slow down the cinematic a little bit. Probably have more of a like a shot where you actually see the whole bridge. I don't know how to explain it. Like a view shot. I don't know. I know the word for it. I just can't think of it right now. And so to do that, I would just have to go in and extend the animations by a little bit. It wouldn't be too bad. I could do it, but it would only take like a day. But I didn't have a day because I was working on the ending cinematic, which I'll probably talk about before we get to the ending, because I don't know how much I want to talk about it. But I'll save it until at least more to the end. So, Lumoria Episode 1, I played just like everyone else did. My first time. all these encounters were like, yeah, this is a firefight moment. I did not do too much besides the cinematics on A. I'm gonna take it that Lodex used my idea to fix the Pelican and the dropships, because I think in TMCA, in the updated version, they like flashed, you know, almost. I think, from my memory, that's what they did, and they don't in this. So I'm gonna take it that Lodex used my idea on how to fix that. Essentially, it's a weird bug with the bounding radius. So what you essentially go in 3ds Max, that plasma was really weird. It like bounced off the Warthog. But anyway, you go into 3ds Max. TN as a whole, we used 3ds Max 8. I don't know anyone in our team who does not use 8. So pretty much our entire team uses 8. So the dropship animations in A are from Jackal Stomper. So is the first cinematic, the bridge. Those animations were also from Jackal Stomper. And so you create the animations in 3ds Max, you import them into Custom Edition, World Relative, yeah. And then you set the bounding radius to the Pelican or dropship as like really high. I usually set it to 360 just because Xbox 360, because it's a circle. I don't know. I don't know which one. I think it's just regular bounding radius, but I also set the render bounding radius to that too. I just set them both to that. I kind of lost my track. But yeah, you set the bounding radius and render bounding radius to really high. And then before you play the animation, you teleport the dropship or Pelican to a flag. I don't know why. I don't know. Because my dropships did that too. I was like, how do I fix this? And so just through Google and Halo Map search, they're like, oh, increase the render bounding radius. I'm like, that didn't help. So what I did was, I went to the original campaign files and was like, oh, they teleport all their dropships. Well, I'm gonna do that too, because I really didn't want mine to flash. So I did that, and it was like, hey, it works, but only with the increased bounding radiuses. I created that first part of the cinematic where he like hits the hollow pad. That animation is stolen from B30. So that was in the updated version, but not the original. Anyway, back to the dropship. I honestly don't think the reason why Bungie doesn't have to increase their bounding radius, and that's why it's set to that, is because they use recorded animations. I think it's like some difference between recorded animations and custom animations, something like that. I don't know. I'm just talking out. Anyway.
Ma'am, the objective is in the next valley.
Ah, that's Lodex talking right there. This part of Lumoria always confused me. And not because of the layout. Well, I do admit, this is a quite big BSP for most people. Just drive through the river and then get out of here. I don't know, it's a lot of BSP for a lot you don't see. But anyway, that I don't understand. like to force a player out of a vehicle while they're in it. Like, even if they brought the Warthog into this area, it wouldn't have been a problem. So I don't know why they did that, and I never asked. So I don't know.
May, Brandon, get to the scientist. I'll pick you up once you've extracted him.
Like in Project Lawson, I do disable you from a Warthog once, but by that point you're out of it. So okay, you're in the gunner seat. I've shown this at C3. You're in the gunner seat. You go through the canyon, and you hop out of the gunner seat. I disabled the Warthog so I can't get into the driver's seat. So, like, I don't mind that. Maybe because I made it, but like, if you're in it, like, if you're halfway through the canyon in like Project Lawson, and I disable you out of the gunner seat, it's gonna be like, what? Just my opinion, though. My opinion doesn't matter. This is the internet. I'm silly. This thing was the hardest thing ever to kill in the original. And now it's just like, it's pretty easy now. I actually thought you had to go up the hill in the original version, so I went all the way up that hill. And there's a little Easter egg, I think. Well, not Easter egg, but there's like sightseeing up there, which is cool. I think there might be an Easter egg up there. I don't remember. This I worked on because whoever created the original cinematics didn't know how to fade out correctly in time. The animation was 250 frames, and the cutscene lasted like 300, so in the last 50 frames, May just got deleted. It's like, that was a really easy fix though. That hallway was inspired from, I think, Halo E3 2000, or one of the early pre-Halo concepts, something like that. I really like this BSP. And I like the fact that you can like see the end of the BSP, like, not the BSP, but like you can see the end of the cave part over there. I don't know, I kind of like the idea, like you see where you're going, but you're not just quite there yet, instead of it just being like, oh, I'm walking and I'm going somewhere where there's enemies. You're kind of like seeing, hey, that's where I'm gonna be after I kill off a couple of jackals. And I think this part was a surprise for everyone who played Lumoria for the first time. I actually don't think this worked the first time.
I'm picking up
Like, I
lots of
activated it and it just did not work. So
Wait a second.
just
What the
revert
heck are
back to the last
those?
cutscene. But the drones, I don't think anyone was expecting drones. Like, I don't know. It's because TM was so... We're sticking to the original Halo assets, so I don't know, I just did not expect something new. And this part's always a little bit difficult just because the jackals have the height advantage. But it's not too hard. So this part's more difficult than the boss battle. Nothing a well-placed grenade can't take care of. UNSC.
I had some trapped friends.
I had some trapped friends somewhere. I'm gonna start talking about the re-released version of the end cutscene. I guess that was the end of the BSP. I could have just said BSP. Whatever. It don't matter. Anyway, the end cutscene. Essentially, we weren't going to change any of the cutscenes from the updated version, but I figured we're releasing this map. We might as well give people who've played it, you know, a couple times some extra replayability than like a new updated tag set and some other stuff that I personally don't notice. But I guess this part's like the most changed. The ending is the most changed. I don't know why I'm standing there. I'm probably like answering a text. Whoops. I did not do that. Anyway. I usually cut out my deaths. I've missed that one, I guess. Whoops. Technically, I didn't die. But I figured since we were re-releasing this map, I'd give it some extra updated value. Like for the opening cutscene, I was going to make it longer, like I said, and I was going to show the drop pod crashing. Like it was going to come down, it was going to crash. And the Scorpion has a really good dirt effect. So I was going to use that effect when it slammed to the ground, and then it was just going to, the dirt was going to fly up. It was gonna be really cool, and then it would go back to how it originally is when May pops out of it. But I did not have nearly enough time, and I started doing the animation, but it just got too difficult. Like, with the amount of time that I had left, it just wasn't gonna happen. But when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna redo these cutscenes so there's more replayability value, at least one time more, there were two major cutscenes, the opening one and the ending one, and so I just looked at what one was worse, and it was just like, it was clear the ending is just, it's a horrible cinematic. So I figured, you know what, the opening is fine. I'm gonna work on that if I have time. I didn't. But the ending was my main priority, and I hated those animations. I don't believe Jackal Stomper did the ending animations. I don't believe he did. Don't quote me on that. If he did, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say he didn't. And this part of the cinematic was just all drowned out, and it was long, so I threw in a couple more camera points. I switched May from shotgun to AR. Mainly just so I could shoot the elite better. So I cut out the animations. That was my first goal, was to cut out the animations. And then I don't know who did it, but someone threw in the song that's at the end of Halo. I don't remember what it is, but they threw that in at the very end in like the beta version. So like the last 5 to 10 seconds of the map played that song. It's like a 40-second song, so it got cut off. And so I was like, I can extend this and have the whole song play. So this part was the last part I worked on. I actually didn't throw the explosions I threw in, but they're human explosions, and High Guy changed them to plasma and fuel rod. In this part, May and the Elite are recorded animations, and the ODST and the scientists are just commandless. So that ends that song, and I was like, okay, time for this song. And this was when I went to redo this in the last week. This was the first part I worked on. The last thing I did on Lumoria was this map. I think it was that right there where the elite pops up. I think that was the last thing I ever did on Lumoria. I cut out the jump. A, because of animations, and B, it was stupid. Like, why did May have to jump? Come on. There's no reason for May to jump. It's like, why does the pelican raise and then stop? Why does May jump on it and then shake the entire pelican? The pelican can hold tanks, but it can't hold May. Anyway, see you in part 2.